turnout, and we hope to have a really great event and learn a lot more about Oldsmar than we even know now, so it's really super. What I'd like to do is ask you to stand. So we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You might have saw us talking to the candidates a little bit, and let's go over the ground rules, so I'll let everybody here know what we're going on. And of course, welcome to the 2019 Oldsmar City Council Candidate Forum, and thanks for taking time out of your day to be good citizens and attend. This is what democracy really is. All politics are local. The people sitting up here are citizen servants, and that's what makes it so important to do that. They've chosen to seek elected office. It's the purest form of democratic governance that I know of. They are truly the citizen servants, and it's you, the citizenry here, to listen to their ideas and visions and hold them accountable as they serve through your continued involvement in city council meetings. So it doesn't stop here. Keep coming. Our purpose tonight is to have you meet these choosing to seek the election, this election year, and hear them out. Each candidate or already seated official will have a couple minutes to tell you about themselves and their goals as your representative. The candidates will then participate in a forum that will probe the issues in more depth. Each candidate will give 1 minute to answer the questions that come up to do that. The League of Women Voters, North Pinellas County, will moderate the forum and serve as a timekeeper, and Ann Decker will be our moderator tonight. And they have two timekeepers that will be sitting up here. Will provide a 30-second warning prior to the candidate response time, followed up by a 15-second warning and a stop notice when the time has expired. 5 candidates, including an incumbent, are running for office to serve on the city council. Once these introductions have been complete, this will be followed by a round of questions, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to the questions. The questions will be rotated among the candidates to ensure that everybody has to answer first and nobody's answering last all the time. It keeps it fair that way. Finally, each candidate will be provided 2 minutes to summarize their candidacy at the end. Questions have been pre-prepared by the moderator and myself, and they have not been shared with the candidate. And as you know, we'll also take written questions. We have a variety of those now. If you have some more, go ahead and get them in. Obviously, I don't think in the hour and a half we'll get to every question, but I think it should be pretty good. Questions of a personal nature are discouraged. We like to be unified here. Don't like that division that we have in our country with all the other stuff going on. So no questions of a personal nature, and we ask that all questions focus on issues that you see important to the city of Oldsmar and the candidates' perspectives on these topics. We'll attempt to get all the questions as time permits. 1 hour has been allotted to complete the forum, and to maximize the time, we ask those attending the forum to save your applause and comments until after the forum concludes. Okay? Any questions? With that, what I'd like to do is introduce our current mayor-elect, Eric Seidel, who'll be taking his seat in March, or is coming off to the city council. And Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your objectives are?
Thank you for the round of applause. I really appreciate that, Jerry. Before I get started, let me just say this. Congratulations and thank you to all the people who are sitting up here running for office, and Dan on getting reappointed. It's a big commitment, and we are grateful for your service. We've got some quality people up there. Oldsmar has built this family feeling, right? If you've ever been to Ariel's Park and you've sat there and the band's playing, or you go for Celebrate Oldsmar and the fireworks are going off, you can look at it, you see the blankets on the ground, the kids there with their families. That's this town. I love this. I love that event because I see that, and it's just one of those things that you feel really good about. But let me ask you a question. How many of you, or people you know, when it comes to the weekends, a lot of times they head over to Dunedin? They like to go over there, or they go over to Safety Harbor because they like to go walk around. You know, it's got that kind of vibe to it. Oldsmar has a lot of stuff going for it, but there's one thing that we do not have. There's a downtown. We need a downtown. I have 3 focuses or 3 priorities to work with the new council on. Build downtown, and build downtown. Now, somebody said to me the other day, hey, you lack folk, there's other things to go on besides just the downtown. And what I would submit to you is, one of the reasons I don't believe we've been successful in accomplishing it is that we haven't been focused enough. So I promise you, as mayor, that that's something I intend to bring to the table every single morning I wake up. Let me just close by saying I am more than grateful for this honor to serve. It is indeed a privilege. Let's go build the vibe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric. We also have Dan Saraki, who is a city council member who is running again, and he was unopposed, so he's elected, and we'll turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, Jerry. Happy New Year, everyone. I must say, before I get started, I want to thank Matt, Andrew, Linda, Katie, Jerry, for your leadership and getting up here and being the future leaders of our city. Thank you so much for doing that. It means so much to all the people out here. My first term has been a great learning experience. As I travel the state and I visit other cities, I promote the success of the city of Oldsmar. I will continue to focus on education, and when I visit Tallahassee, I will make sure everyone knows about our city, that we are second to none. My goals as a council member for my next term are very clear. I will ensure to protect your voice, the people's voice, keep our neighborhoods safe, keep our taxes fair, and protect our property values so company and people continue to move to our city. Our downtown has a vision, and I see it in our near future. I will work with every council member, our new mayor, and city staff to ensure its success of future planning. I would like to thank somebody very special in this room, our city manager, Al, for your leadership. Thank you for all your hard work. I see you working on weekends, countless hours for the people of this city. You do it all for the people, and you are dedicated. Your dedication has gone unnoticed, has not gone unnoticed. I knew I'd get a laugh. To the city staff, thank you all for keeping our city beautiful. To my wife, Paula, thank you for everything you do for me and the community. You are a great team member, and I'm proud to have you as my best friend. God bless the city of Oldsmar. God bless the United States of America. And thank you to the people of Oldsmar for another 3 years. I will not let you down.
Thank you, Dan. Just one more thing. We're going to have Ellen Seligman from the League of Women Voters tell you a little bit about them and the great job that they do for our community. Ellen, and then we'll turn it over to Aaron Decker. We'll be gone.
Thank you. The League of Women Voters was created in 1920, about the time that women were given the right to vote. Since 1949, the League has been open to both men and women. The League strongly supports the electoral process and encourages voters to educate themselves prior to voting and to encouraging all others qualified to vote. The hallmark of democracy is the willingness to treat all with courtesy and respect, not just those that we agree with. Tonight's candidates' forum rules call to adherence to the terms of civil discourse between both the candidates and the public. It is in that spirit we are here. So we ask everyone to engage in the vital part of our democratic process, a civil discourse of important issues confronting our community. And now I will give it back over to Ann Decker, who will moderate tonight's evening, and we thank you all for coming and doing your citizens' duty. Oh, just hold them up and we'll have.
Good evening. I'm Ann Decker. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, and I work for the Voter Services Committee. And the reason we are so committed to voter education is because we believe in that process. We're nonpartisan. We're all about get out the vote. Your election is March 12th. You have an important municipal election, obviously. And the last day to register, in case you are not registered, is February 11th. So any of you who are concerned about whether you are registered to vote or not, please take care of that before February 11th. We also have an exciting new initiative from the state, which is, as you know, Amendment 4 passed, which means felons who have met all their requirements for service can now register to vote. So in your community where you have friends and who are in that category, we now call them renewed citizens, have them go over to the SOE, the Supervisor of Elections, and register to vote. With that, as my dad always says, let's play ball. I think you all know that council member and on seat 1, that would be Matt, Andrew, and Linda, they're going to be serving 2 years of the remaining term, whereas council members Dan is already squared away, and council members for seat 4 who are running will be serving 3-year terms. Okay, the person who won the lottery tonight is Andrew. So the first question is going to come your way. And are you ready, young man?
Aren't we doing opening statements first?
Opening statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Each of you has a 2-minute opening
Okay,
statement.
we ready?
Ready.
All right. Good evening, and thank you to everybody who has taken the time to attend tonight's Citizens Forum, or Candidates Forum, excuse me. It is about the citizens, though. Additionally, thank you to the League of Women Voters and Upper Tampa Bay Chamber for hosting such an important event. My name is Andrew Knapp, and I'm a third-generation resident of Oldsmar. I am an engineer by trade, but a problem solver by nature. Since my youth, I have been interested in solving problems and learning how things work. At the start of 2018, I set my sights on a new improvement goal as one of my New Year's resolutions, to run for Oldsmar City Council. But enough about me, let's talk about something that matters to all of us, Oldsmar. In the not too distant past, Tampa Road only had 2 lanes, Little League Baseball was played down by the park on the water, and our library was in this room that we now sit in. Closer to the inception of our city, Oldsmar did actually have a downtown. It was vibrant, it was small, but it did exist. However, this is not the Oldsmar that we live in today. Today, Oldsmar is a community filled with diverse people, fantastic parks, and a world-class businesses, both small and large. Given recent events at our city council meetings, Oldsmar now has the pieces of the puzzle to fill the void in downtown and reestablish the district. Our downtown being adjacent to Tampa Road should no longer be viewed as a deterrent, but an opportunity to establish a central area for our residents to come together from both near and far. I'm a firm believer in if you build it, they will come. The question is, however, what is it? This and much more is what I wish to share with you all tonight. Thank you.
Linda, your 2 minutes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Linda Norris, and some of you might know that I served on the City Council from 2010 to 2016, and I loved it. I loved serving the citizens. I loved every question that I got. People came to my door, people called me, and I truly love being a public servant. And I can say that because I did donate my salary. So I wasn't a politician, I was a public servant, so I'm proud of that. And I'll be doing that again as well. Oldsmar Cares will be getting the majority of my salary. I do love everything that Eric and everyone is saying about the downtown. I agree. I do believe that we do need a vibrant downtown. One thing that I also want to see come to fruition is the flea market. That's already in the works. The developer has a wonderful, beautiful plan, and it's not public yet, but it's going to be something that we can all be proud of. It really will. When he rolls it out and lets y'all know what he's got in store, I think that everyone is going to be happy because it's going to be family friendly. It's just going to be beautiful. But I can't say any more because he wants to be the one that rolls it out. The other things that I really enjoy about being on, when I was on the council before, and things that I want to continue if I do have the honor of being elected again, is I'm a big advocate for the arts, and I want to continue having more public art in the city of Oldsmar. Go to Ari Olds Park and see our beautiful murals, in Sheffield Park and see our beautiful mural on the trail. I want to have more of that. I do also really care about the environment. I care about clean water and clean air, and bringing more businesses, but not too many businesses to Oldsmar, so we can keep that small town feel. That's what I want, is a small town family feel for all of y'all and me. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
Hi, I'm Katie Gannon. I am so grateful for everyone who came out tonight. I see so many friendly faces out there in the audience. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for moderating tonight's event, and for the Chamber for assisting in organizing the event. Thank you to the city staff I see out there working tonight like so many nights they are. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Katie Gannon. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an attorney. I actually grew up in Oldsmar since I was 8 years old. We moved here to the Tampa area from Michigan. I've been an attorney for about a decade. I went to the University of Florida for my undergraduate degree in journalism, and then I went to the University of Florida again for law school, so I'm a double gator, hopefully not too offensive. I'm a member of the Women's Club of Oldsmar. I'm a member of the Oldsmar Historical Society. I'm also on the Leisure Services Advisory Board. And I have a deep, deep desire to be of service to the people of this community, to the people I see looking at me tonight. I am so grateful for those of you who have voiced your support for me, who have opened your doors to me as we go door to door throughout this process. It's been so much fun getting to know everyone and getting to know more about our city. I'm here to earn your trust and your vote for Oldsmar City Council Seat 4. I want to make sure that what's important to you gets to me. I want to know what's on your mind. I know we have a lot of priorities, including downtown, which I know a lot of residents feel is a priority as well, but I want to know what your priorities are. So you can find out more about me at katieforoldsmar.com. I'd love for you to find me on Facebook so that we can talk more. I really want to earn your vote and your trust for City Council Seat 4. Thanks for coming tonight.
Thanks, Katie. We have a request that everyone please speak a little bit louder. So Jerry, you're going to be the role model. And remember, how many minutes do you have?
I told you as many as I want, but she's down there telling me no. That's okay.
Go ahead, Jerry.
My name's Jerry Beaverland, and I've been in the city of Oldsmar for 53 years, and nobody can love this city any more than I love this city. And I want to introduce my beautiful, beautiful wife, Wanda, of 63 years. I love her. We moved here because I want my kids to be able to run until they drop, not in a subdivision. Nothing against subdivisions. If I make you mad about that, that's fine. We've lost 2 of our sons here and 1 of our beautiful granddaughters here. We love this city. We moved here in 1966 when you go out, sit on Tampa Road for an hour and never see a car. Now we have 75,000 cars in every 24-hour period. Okay, we talk about downtown. Let me tell you something, and I don't disagree with Eric. A downtown does not make a city. The residents makes a city. And thank you for being here as residents. They're more important than the downtown. They're more important than anybody sitting up here. And they're more important than city government. The residents is what makes a town what it is. And that's the reason why this town is number 1, because our residents have made it number 1. A lot of people know me. You call me and I'm at your place same day and I'll try to solve your problem. These signs coming up here. In Gullair Village, I've been down there, I don't know how many times. I took Al down there. Problems they have. And I was down there, one of them said, when will he come down? And I said, I'll be there before you can hang up your phone. I love this city. I've written 4 books on the history of Oldsmar. I know Oldsmar. My heart is, my wife says I'm married to her, but my mistress is the city of Oldsmar.
Thank you, Jerry and Matt. Now we'd like to hear from you.
Okay, whereabouts are the signs, just there? Behind the podium? I can't see them, just in case.
He can't see the signs.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sweetheart. Hi there. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women's Voters, Chamber of Commerce, City of Oldsmar and the city staff for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight. Most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you, our residents, for taking an interest, coming out to listen to what we all have to say. My name's Matt Clark. I've been a resident here in Oldsmar for 11 years. I was a volunteer firefighter in the CFS, 1985 to 1989. My wife has been a resident here for 25 years, and these are our great little kids here that were raised and went to school here. My father-in-law has a very successful business right here in Oldsmar for 35 years. 2009, we moved off Shore Drive, and we run a very successful export company that is international, all world-based. I have an education in building, engineering, studying the Master Builders Association, a background in building development, a long history of public service. I actually still retain my supervisor's license. While I'd like to be able to sit here and tell you I've had a long history in public service and politics, but I can't. I'm not a politician. I've never had any elected office, but I am the public just like you. Because I've never held public office, I see things like most people. In this room, I'm trying to say, without reading this, we all live here, we all work here, and we're trying to raise our families here. We all have to pay our bills the same way. That said, I highly encourage you to visit my website, mattclarkoldsmar.com. This country has given me so much opportunity that I want to give something back.
Thank you, Matt. We'll start with number 1. And we'll start with the civics question tonight. I don't have this on. The Oldsmar government is essentially made up of 3 parts: the city council, city manager, other charter officials, and staff and citizen boards. How do you think this partnership works, and what will you do to strengthen it?
I think this partnership works really well as it's currently set up and structured. But I think there could be better communication and more encouragement for involvement, especially on the boards. I myself joined the Code Enforcement Board as an alternate earlier this year, and I just feel like there's always seems to be an opening, and if there's not, there's a pretty short list for people wanting to get on a board. And I feel like we could encourage our citizens to do more. As far as the city council goes, I think they do a great job, and continue to wish that they just make their priorities heard, and that we can continue to do more work for the city and give us a brighter future. Thank you.
Linda, how do you think this partnership works, and what would you do to strengthen it?
What I like about the way that this city is run is, first of all, we don't have a strong mayor format. So every member of the council has an equal vote. Some cities, the mayor had, no offense. So everybody has an opportunity to have an equal vote. And y'all are the ones that elect us, so we're really speaking for y'all. And I like that, because politics are local. We don't have a lot that we can really influence in a state and federal setting, but in our little town, we can. And with our new city manager, Al, and our new assistant city manager, Felicia, I think that these positive changes are being made. So I like the way that it works, and like Andrew said, more involvement from this. This is the most people I've seen at a forum, so this is awesome. So it's already beginning, so thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And Katie, how do you feel you'd strengthen the partnership?
I think the partnership works rather well. A couple of things, though, that I'd love for us to work on. I want to make sure that we retain the city staff that we have. I don't want Oldsmar to be a stepping stone to bigger cities, to more pay, whatever the case may be. I want to make sure that our city manager is able to keep in place the staff that he has, because I know he feels strongly that the staff he's got now is incredibly effective and efficient. And that goes for everywhere, for the fire rescue, that goes for our finance department, that's all the way around. The other thing I think we could work on is communication between the boards to the council. I think sometimes there's a disconnect between what actually happens on our Citizens Advisory Board. I happen to be on the Leisure Services Advisory Board and on the council. Of course, the boards are set up by the council, except for the statutory couple, but my particular board can be done away with. So it sometimes feels as though there's not a whole lot that we can do as an advisory board member. So I'd love to encourage participation, communication to the council with the advisory boards as well.
Thank you, Katie. Jerry?
We have an incredible government here in this city. Our city manager is strong, Felicia is strong, Ann is strong, everybody's strong, but I'll tell you one thing. If there's a weakness in it, then we get rid of it. We had a weakness in the city attorney one time, and I got rid of him. You don't keep something that's not productive. You don't keep something that takes this city down. And our city government right now is incredible. Am I going to make it better? I don't think so. Am I going to support it? Damn right I am. And that's me.
Thanks, Jerry. Matt, how do you feel about the partnership?
Well, for starters, the council do an amazing job. As for communication, I'm not on any boards to be able to, except for, with the situations I've had with the building department and trying to rectify all those sorts of things. I love what Al and Felicia are doing. They've really changed the city as a whole. I've noticed that especially with Al. But there is one thing that I have spoken to pretty well as many staff as I can is in regards to staff retention. It's something that we really are on the outside, whether you hear it or not. The staff say that they feel that it's a stepping stone. So, and that's a shame because we've got a lot of good qualified staff, and that's all I can say at the moment. Timed out, did it? Sorry, 2 seconds. Damn it, do you know how much I could have got in?
Thanks, Matt. I'm going to start a second question, and it'll be for Linda first. Okay. And this is kind of my favorite question. Oldsmar motto is a great place to live,
Work and play.
And stay.
Believe in this motto, and what is the single best feature that makes it true? Linda.
Okay, I absolutely believe in this model. I was raised in the Tampa Bay area, but I've been in Oldsmar for 20 years. And I came here because of the small town feel and how beautiful it is. I started my business here, and it's 20 years going strong. So I live here, I work here, and the parks and the waterfront and the zip line and the everything. I mean, it's exactly what we offer, live, work, and play. So that's why I moved here 20 years ago, and I plan on staying here. So,
thanks, Linda. Katie, what's your favorite part of that motto?
Live, work, play, and stay. Well, live, absolutely. I moved here when I was 8 years old. I have a family of my own now. We live over on Lafayette Boulevard across from Bicentennial Park where we play. My husband's play begins at the boat ramp because he loves to go fishing. We work here as well. My husband works over at Sunbelt Staffing in the credentialing department. My kids go to the learning experience over on Tampa Road. And we love to play in another way too, the businesses that we have here. I look forward to having businesses in a downtown area where everybody can play. Our parks, the parks are beautiful here. It's one of my favorite things about Oldsmar, that everybody who lives here can walk to a park pretty much. And stay. We're staying here forever, but my goal is to make sure that anybody who wants to move to Oldsmar, start a business in Oldsmar, retire in Oldsmar, can affordably do so and stay here for as long as they want to as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Jerry?
It's a great model, but it didn't happen overnight. Experience made that model over the years. When we first moved here, it probably wasn't a great place to live. We thought it was, but other people laughed at the city of Oldsmar because it was back in the jungle somewhere. Experience made that model and made the city the way it is. You stand there and you look, you plan it, and you work it out. We are 10 square miles, and 3.5 of those square miles are parks and preserves, not by chance, by planning with experience. And that's why you're all here. And that's why y'all made this city what it is today, because you want to live here, because that motto it's up there in diamonds.
Thanks, Jerry. Matt?
I love Oldsmar. As a child, I grew up in a city. It was exactly the same as some of the history that I've heard of this city. Dirt roads, and when I moved here, I drove through Oldsmar the first time, and I looked at a house, and I said to myself, my wife said, "This is the house." I said, "No, that's not the house." 2 days later, I drove past the same house, and I said, "Oh, geez, I like that house." And next thing I know, we've bought this house. So it gives me the small town country feel. And with the talk of development with downtown, it's something that is very dear to me. I don't want to see over trafficked, and I can't bring myself to do that. So my whole family's here. I've convinced all my family to move here. We're not going anywhere, so.
Thank you. Andrew?
All right. So I've been in Oldsmar for 33 years. Surprise, surprise. So I've lived it for, I guess, almost as long as, probably longer than everybody here up here. So, I worked here. My first job was here at Alberto's Pizza, which is no longer here. And I've been working now for close to 7 years at a world leader in medical device manufacturing here in town. And I play here. I like riding our bikes on the trails. Just would love to see that we could get around easier between the parks and between an eventual downtown district. With that being said, I think that the single greatest feature about all that is that there's opportunity for more. We can make it even greater than what it is today. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. The third question, I'll start with Katie. And I'd like you to begin to get as specific as you can. You all know that your term is short. It's 2 years, it's 3 years. You're not going to be in the Senate of the United States forever. So you have, never. We're nonpartisan. In your 2-year term, if you're elected, what is the biggest challenge that you think you'll face in the short term, and how will you address that specifically?
I think we have a couple of challenges that are on my mind, but one of the biggest challenges is going to be our infrastructure. We have to take on a substantial amount of debt and do some work on our underground utilities, our roads. These are the sort of less glamorous expenditures. You know, people like to see parks, they like to see public art, and those things are wonderful, but we're nothing if our infrastructure is falling apart, and it's all related. Businesses, they don't necessarily want to start a business in a place where the infrastructure is poor. And, you know, if we're working toward a downtown, well, people don't want to come to a downtown if it's not in the condition that it should be. We're first stewards of the physical and fiscal condition of our city. So carefully taking on that debt and planning for those expenditures and monitoring the progress of them is something that will happen during our term, and we need to pay very close attention to.
Thanks, Katie. Jerry?
Well, our infrastructure is probably 90% newer. We only have one that we're doing on now, and that's the Gulliver Harbor Palms. But we've tried our infrastructure. And every year we have built something. When I was first elected in 1990, we had 7 miles of dirt streets in this town, 7 miles of dirt streets in this town. And they said it cost $18 million. Our city engineer said it cost $18 million. And when I was elected, I put it together for $1.5 million. And they said it couldn't be done. And I said it will be done. So we paved those 7 miles of dirt streets for $1.5 million. I went out and did my homework. And I got 15 seconds. And we also did a major drainage, the Burbank Drainage Project. City manager said, do you mind if I put another $1 million on that? And I said, put $1 million on that and we'll do our stop.
Matt, you moved here for the dirt roads, you know, right?
$1 million, I'd like some drainage, but
So think about what you think is the challenge you'll face.
Okay, well, as for infrastructure, for 14,600 residents, I think we've got a very good one, to be honest, for such a small city. I'm actually really impressed with it, with what we've got in place. There's a few things that I'd like to see with the development of downtown roads. I'm already concerned about roads prior downtown because we've already got a lot of congested traffic in a lot of areas that eventually we're going to congest it even more by putting the downtown there first and not being able to look at these roads now. And I haven't spoken to anyone in the city whether this is something that's even on the cards yet. But that's one topic. The other one's Oldsmar Beach. We actually have one. I didn't even really know it, but I actually want to do something with it. And a lot of people are talking about a boat ramp. Believe it or not, there's actually 60 feet up the road, there's a 30-foot ditch where they used to launch the boats, the big boats that used to come in. I can't get access to it because it's on private property, but it's something that I want to look at. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Andrew, how are you going to address the challenges in your short term?
There's a couple challenges that I think our city will face in the short term. One is that the widening of Forest Lakes Boulevard is upon us. Eventually it's going to start. I hope so soon because the traffic's pretty bad up there where I work. One of the other challenges, of course, as people have touched on, is downtown. But I think people will be pretty upset that if our 2-year term is up and nothing's happened, that's going to be kind of a failure. So what I'd like to see is us develop a master plan that's flexible and takes advice from both the citizens as well as interested developers to come up with a plan that works for everybody and doesn't impact the citizens that live closest to it. Nobody's going to want to see something pop up in grand style overnight. They want to get used to it and accustomed to it. So I think if it happens organically over time, but within a 2-year period, I think that's feasible. In manufacturing, 2 years of no work progress is unacceptable. So that's what I'd like to see.
Thank you, Andrew. And Linda?
I think that our biggest challenge is going to be the growth. I think that we should keep our eye on smart growth. I think that with the flea market project and with the downtown, all the energy going into those 2 projects, I think that we could grow too fast and the traffic could be worse, and the traffic is already bad enough. So I think that we need to make sure that with all of these great plans that we have, that we don't make a situation that's already, I mean, you drive down Tampa Road at rush hour and you might as well just put a book on tape on, because it gets pretty congested. And the traffic accidents at Forest Lakes and Tampa. So I think that would be the biggest challenge, would be to make sure that we're smart about what we are planning and implementing so that we can keep it not congested. Thank you.
You ready? Let's take on this development challenge and what I hear you talking about. The city is experiencing considerable new development, is what I'm hearing. The Tampa Road corridor, am I correct using that expression? Mm-hmm. As well as some major development of the town center. The historic flea market has been sold to a major developer, regional developer. What is your perspective on the planning and execution process to date? And are you supportive of what you've seen, even though I gather not everything's been rolled out for you, but what is your position on development? We have the NIMBYs, not in my backyard. I don't know if you have that here. And then you have a lot of the pro-development push. we see that all over Pinellas County.
We have 4 areas, and I bet some of these candidates don't even know what I'm talking about. We have 4 areas in this city that's going to be developed. Experience is going to play a big part in that they're developed correct. Oldsmar, we have never violated what we wanted for the future. The flea market, great. Next to City Hall, great. Next to the library, great. But I'm gonna give you a 4th one. We got 110 acres out here that's gonna be developed, 110 acres. And Experience is going to make that development a success. So this city is still lovable by all the citizens. I'll tell you how I feel. You keep the developers in check.
Thank you, Jerry. Matt?
My thoughts on downtown development at first, when I first heard it, I didn't like it. But at the same time, we all want a Dunedin, we all want Safety Harbour. And it's probably underway as we speak. As for the flea market, a lot of rumours went flying around, but as of late, I've sort of done some research into that, and from what I'm hearing, he's actually renovating every week. He comes back and makes sure that all of his staff has renovated one part of that, and he has big plans for it, and it's not going like everyone thought it was, which was great. As for downtown, I don't want to see it turn into 16 doctors' offices, 3 newsagents. I want to see cafes. I want to see a downtown that is family-friendly, trees, more family-friendly. That's basically what I want to see happen down in downtown. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. And you, Andrew?
Well, I'm running partly because, I'm not happy with the progress that's been made so far. Not to say that any one individual or entity has done a bad job, but if people want it, let's get it done. There's no reason to drag our feet, and as I said in my opening, to use Tampa Road as kind of a deterrent or a discouragement point. There's a lot of cars that drive past, and if you look at Linebaugh over in West Chase, there's a development there, and there's plenty of businesses there that people stop in, and there's tons of houses and apartments behind it. Obviously, a lot more denser and considerably different, but that's why Oldsmar should develop their own plan of something that works for us and that people can get behind and be willing to walk there. And that's why, I'm tired of going to Safety Harbor and Dunedin, but I do it because it's something to do and it's enjoyable. And I'd like to see that here in my hometown.
Thanks, Andrew. Linda?
As for the development, I like that NIMBY's not in my backyard. When I bought my house, I had nothing around me, and now I'm surrounded by 3-story structures. But I couldn't afford to buy that property and build, so, it is what it is. I don't want to see massive 3, 4, and 5-story structures in Oldsmar. I do believe that the flea market property, I did meet with Grady. We've known each other. We're in the same business, kind of. I mean, I'm a small town business, and he's a big business. But the vision that he has is amazing, and I think everybody is going to love it. And I do think that it's going to fit with. He is going to keep the flea market, but he's going to add to it, and he's going to add elements, and it's just going to be beautiful. So when everybody gets to hear about it, I think everybody's going to be on board on it. I really do. As for the downtown, I agree with my fellows up here. Not too much. Keep the developers in check, like Jerry said. Don't give away property for less than appraised value. Be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. That's what I want to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. And Katie, where are you on this issue?
I agree with much of what has been said. We definitely need to have a downtown that is in keeping with the aesthetic that our residents expect. But I am in support of a downtown area where our residents can shop and dine and gather, somewhere that's walkable. I'd love to walk to a downtown area with my family. I know a lot of folks would. I love the development that we're having on Tampa Road. We've got a series of great buildings. There's another one coming. The old people might know the the Enterprise Rent-A-Car facility is being turned into a doctor's office now, which is exciting. We have a code that keeps everything within the aesthetic, and I'm also excited about development at the flea market. I think he needs to do some work to make sure we keep attracting younger and different crowds with different elements. What does bother me, though, is that in some of those beautiful buildings that we have on the Tampa Road corridor is a lot of for lease signs and businesses that don't make it very long. And I want to make sure that we improve our reputation among small businesses, and I want to make sure we continue working on our permitting processes.
Thanks, Katie. The next question will start with you, Matt. I'm going to do a little bit of a content shift, but you've been talking about Dunedin a lot. They have committed to solar power and being a sustainable community. What leadership ideas do you have if you want to go that direction to help Oldsmar achieve 100% renewable, sustainable energy by?
Well, you're talking to a guy that comes from a country that everything is recyclable. Solar energy is a big thing in Australia. Here, I'd like to see it actually put into place, but the pricing of what they're trying to sell it for here, it's not sustainable for the average person to pay $15,000, $20,000 as some of the quotes that I've been hearing. As for recycling, I think that there's not many people that I know that really hardcore recycle. I'm a big recycler, so I have like 3 recycle bins. Stuff like that is just a natural to me, but not something that I've actually looked into because I haven't discussed it with anybody. So not within the city. So, but they do have a program here within the city for recycling, and it's for all the public to attend. So yeah, thank you very much.
Andrew, how about becoming a renewable, sustainable energy city?
Well, I myself have taken the jump to having a battery electric vehicle as well as Linda here. So I've found it in my own right to go out and take the lead on it and be a model as to how you can live a greener and sustainable life. I'd like to see the city, even though it's great that we have some charging options here on State Street, there's nothing to really come to in Park. But as that happens, then it'll be reasonable to use those. I'd like to see it be expanded even with the use of so many people now using golf carts so they could have a place to charge too, if there was a reasonable installation that could be done for that. As far as the recycling goes, it's great. I always make sure that I don't put my recycles in a plastic bag before they go into the recycle bin. I'd also like to see us explore composting. I think composting is a great way to reduce how much goes to the landfill. Out of sight, out of mind, no one knows what we're sending offshore or to a large pit somewhere. So I'd like to help reduce that.
Thank you. And Linda?
I love this question. Okay, we were the first municipality in the Tampa Bay area to have single stream recycling, the first one to have electric car charging stations. So we are forward in that. I was on the green team while I was on the council, which we got designated a silver LEED certified city. I would like to reestablish that and go to gold. I have talked to Al when I was on the council. I've wanted to have studies to see about getting electric vehicles for some of the city vehicles, not the ones that do the big stuff, but the people that it's 10 square miles. Lockheed Martin, their solar panels will pay themselves off in 8 years. After 8 years, they're not going to have to pay electricity. I would like to see solar panels on our municipal buildings. So yeah, there's a lot that I would, and commercial recycling for commercial businesses. I would like to see that as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. And Katie?
I have heard some great things about sustainability. I actually enjoy the fact that in Oldsmar, we have a sustainability coordinator. A lot of people don't know that. Trista, she does a great job, and she's working to make sure that we're aware of some of the ways in which we can implement more sustainability initiatives in our city. I'd like to see some expansion on the golf cart usage and the rules allowing golf carts. I think that's an easy sort of sustainable way that older people who are residents especially can use. I like our recycling, although I think we did things backwards sometimes. We have these great solar charging stations, but then in a lot of our parks until recently, I know Ken's somewhere out here in the audience, in a lot of our parks we actually did not have recycling facilities. So you're playing basketball, but you don't necessarily have a place to deposit your water bottle. So I want to make sure that we take steps in the right order to implement more sustainability initiatives, and I think solar panels could be a great idea.
Thanks, Katie. Jerry?
Well, Oldsmar has sustained itself for many years, and we didn't need all that. I am not going to try to force our residents to put some kind of solar panel on their roof. I'm not going to do that. If you want a solar panel, great, have that. You're sitting in a Leeds building. You know what that is? If you don't, ask the city manager back there. We're one of the first cities to have a Leeds building. This thing is built so it maintains its energy. Our new water plant is almost a Leeds building. And you want to ask me how to make it work more in the city of Oldsmar? It's going to take the citizens. We're doing what we can. We've already done it up here. And that's all I got to say.
Great. We're going to go back to now. And I want to keep talking development. Yes, I hear that Amazon's not moving here.
That's good.
Thank God, thank God.
But I have a question here. So that means you, for development, you're interested in small businesses, perhaps, if I've heard you. Oh, I'm sorry. You may be interested in small businesses. So I'd like to know, how will you attract, if you want to, small businesses?
Well, I work for a small business, or actually budding medium business now, and it's been tough growing from small, but we're experiencing explosive growth, and we're on the verge of building a second building. And so I go to trade shows, and when I work with other businesses that are customers of ours or suppliers, I tell them, you know, they ask, where are you from? Where do you work? Oldsmar. I don't say Tampa. So I promote it through my industry, and when we go to trade shows, I tell people about what a great area that it is to come and have a business at. And so I think that there's more room for it, especially in the industrial area. Our business is part of the Upper Tampa Bay Manufacturers Association, and we really are continuing to drive and bring more manufacturing into the industrial area, which, you know, back there, it doesn't have to be so pretty and perfect like the Tampa Road corridor. So I'd like to see that continue to grow back there, because there's certainly a lot of opportunity.
Thank you. And Linda?
I actually, one of the reasons I came to Oldsmar was because I loved it having the location of being Tri-County. You can get to St. Pete, Tampa, Tarpon, you can get anywhere in 30 minutes. So I talk that up when I talk to businesses and when I talk to people. Rockstar Cafe is here because I stole them from Palm Harbor. I would go into businesses and I would say, come to Oldsmar, come to Oldsmar, come to Oldsmar. So I just tell them all of the benefits that we have here. So yes, small businesses is the goal. It would be ideal for the small town feel. But like Andrew said, the manufacturing base here is amazing. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I do actually like what Katie said about the leasing, getting more people into the empty spaces that we have. So that's definitely a goal that we should work on.
So I get to say to you, how are you going to do that?
Well, I think it's important that we do a better job of marketing what we have to offer. Folks might be surprised to see on the ballot, actually, on March 12th, an initiative, a tax break to encourage new businesses to come to Oldsmar. But once they decide to come here, we have to do a better job of supporting them. I've heard a couple of stories that make me kind of sad that it took so long to open in Oldsmar because of permitting issues and inspections and all these things, and then their business failed within 6 months. And then the rumor is you wait for a business to fail in Oldsmar, and then you come and open your doors and follow them. And that's really unfortunate. That breaks my heart. I don't want us to have that reputation. I think part of it means marketing ourselves a little bit better and Assistant City Manager Felicia Donnelly, who is staring at me right now, actually. She is doing a great job, and now she is free to do more in terms of economic development. But it's going to take cooperation from the citizens, from the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber, and from the city at all levels to encourage more businesses to come to Oldsmar.
Thanks, Katie and Jerry.
We are a friendly city to businesses. Thanks to the next mayor here, the permitting process has been, whatever you call it, it's up in the air now, and it works well. But we are a friendly city to businesses. It isn't our fault that some business goes out of business. Anyway, how to get business? I'll tell you, in 1992, you know the Tampa Bay Parts of Commerce where Nilsson is? That was in the city. 600 acres was in the county, right here in the city. I did this. I went out there and persuaded them. It's convoluted and it's a long story. It's in one of my books. They annexed into the city of Oldsmar. That was a 600-acre tax incentive for every resident, and that's why your taxes don't go up in this city. We've lowered them twice while I was mayor, and that's how you take care of taxes.
Thanks, Jerry. Matt?
Well, I'm not going to talk too much about taxes, but small businesses, I believe that more on this side of downtown, if they're going to develop downtown and create the vibe, as we're going to call it, the marketing side of things, the Upper Chamber of Commerce, they do a fantastic job at that as it is. With the flea market and downtown going in together roughly at around the same time, the flea market's been a landmark here for forever. So we're not going to really sort of know what that's going to do in time to come, but I think with the two of them together is going to promote itself, I'm hoping. But at the same time, I think there's an opportunity there to work with the the Chamber of Commerce to promote it more within the flea market at the same time simultaneously. Thank you.
Next question starts with Linda. Okay, I drove over here from Clearwater across 580. I think that's North Tampa Bay, or it's part of Tampa Bay. A lot of water. Is Oldsmar addressing the rising sea levels? Do you see that as a problem for you guys? This is part of the environmental issues that are so critical in a lot of people's minds in Florida.
Yes, I definitely see it as an issue, and we do need to address it because so much of our land is waterfront, whether it's canals, the bay. We definitely need to address it. It's such a big issue that we need to work with our state officials. We need to work with our Congress. We need to work. It's not something that we can do as a little town all by ourselves. So I'll be honest, I don't know what we should do first in order to address it, but it is something that I'll definitely want to be a part of because so many of us live either on the water. Most of Oldsmar is in a flood zone. They're redoing the flood maps right now, so a lot more people are going to be in flood zones, and so a lot more people. I mean, it's in the works right now. It's not done yet, but it's definitely an issue. And climate change is real, and I think we should do everything that we can with the solar, with everything else that we can do in order to reduce our carbon footprint.
Thanks. Katie?
It is an issue. Recently, you could probably see it at the library if you happen to go there. The new FEMA flood maps came out and were presented actually at council as well. The floodplain is changing, the 100-year flood zone for the first time. It never used to go above Tampa Road, and now for the first time, the 100-year flood zone is going north of Tampa Road, which is kind of frightening. And that impacts a lot of our citizens, especially for their insurance. And that's a big deal. And one of the reasons we need to do our best to try to make sure that our millage rate stays current, because our residents are being impacted from different sides that we can't control. And so we need to try to focus on what we can control. And I think our building codes are taking that into account to try to make sure that our new buildings are in line with the insurance rates to try to help our citizens as much as we can. But I am interested in learning more about what we can do to take care of this issue.
The city of Oldsmar is not going to do a thing about rising tides. Nothing. That's going to come from whoever's up in the Washington, D.C. in the swamp, let's just say it. My beautiful wife, Wanda, and I have lived on Tampa Bay, across from Tampa Bay for 53 years. And you know what? The water hasn't raised 1 inch yet. Now, it may someday, I'm not saying it won't, but it hasn't raised since we've been there. The only thing that bothers me is a hurricane, and they don't bother me either until Elena came. After Elena, I learned, and I was educated about the hurricanes, but we're not going to do anything except prod somebody up in the swamp. And they're not going to do anything either because they're confused.
Thanks. So, Matt, could you unconfuse?
Actually, I want to. Yeah, anyone that's paid flood insurance knows that this is a concern, but I'd like to reiterate what Katie had said. It's something that's out of our control, but it's something that is a concern. To me, it's a map. I agree with Jerry. I haven't seen it rise in a year, so much as an inch on our street, and I live across the road from Jerry. That said, I do believe that, in time it may change. What can we do about it? I don't know. I'd have to look into it to see some more, to find some more facts on it. It's Mother Nature, so is it something I'll look at? Yes.
Thanks, Matt. Andrew? All this, man.
Well, as Matt said, Mother Nature, she's going to do what she's going to do. My grandmother lives right down on Shore Boulevard, just in West Oldsmar, and she's had several close calls from some of the storms. And it's frightening to know what could happen if the city's not prepared, whether it be a storm or for rising sea levels. So the city can do their part to protect the parks, but then find out and get education so that we can help our citizens figure out what they can do, whether it's lifting their homes or creating some kind of different seawall that can protect houses. At some point it's going to happen. It may not be it probably won't be in any of our terms, but in 50 years, we're going to be facing a very different future here where maybe the waterfront is Tampa Road. Who knows? But we need to be prepared and have some sort of long-term vision or plan of how to deal with it and have preventive action instead of reactive actions.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce a new format now. It's called the lightning round. And I want you to just say yes or no. This gives us a chance to move through a few questions a little bit faster. Yes or no?
Was that the question?
Can you?
I'm kidding. Just a little bit of levity.
Can we build a skate park in Oldsmar? Yes or no?
Yes.
We had one, so we got yes and no.
Yes. Yes, we can again.
Yes.
Okay. Could we make the downtown streets a little brighter? It's very dark down there. Jerry?
You dang right.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Affirmative.
Yes.
Yes, and I'd like to know what citizen asked that question because I want to know the exact street where that needs to be done.
I don't think that's right.
Can we have picnic tables in Lynn Riva's Enviro Center?
Oh, goodness.
Who's on?
Starting.
Matt?
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I question why they weren't there in the first place.
Read that question again.
Picnic tables in Lynn Reeves.
Oh, of course.
Of course. That's not one of the answers that you're allowed to have. Is the millage rate going to be raised since it hasn't been for many years?
30 years.
No. I think I'm
Wait,
saying, right?
yeah, whose turn is it?
I guess.
I'm lost now. Andrew?
No.
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 I hope not.
A big no unless we need it for the fire department.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh, no. So I was waiting for you to look.
The lightning round?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm done.
Yeah, now I ask each one.
Good job.
Another question for each of them,
Oh, that's right.
and then they're closing.
Okay. So, Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
this new innovative idea of the other Jerrys is you may ask a question of your fellow candidates, and each one of them will answer one question. You're all going to have this opportunity.
I can ask her a question.
You're going to ask a question, and everybody has to answer.
Who are you going to vote for?
Who are you going to vote for? For what? You're not helping here.
That's my question.
All right.
For us?
For who, for which?
Everybody.
Oh, well, I'm going to vote for myself. That's the question.
You're not answering?
I apologize.
Voting for me? Voting for me?
Intending to
They're
vote for
voting for
myself.
themselves. You have to answer it, too.
My wife will tell me who to vote for.
Okay. All right. Matt, you get to ask your fellow panelists a question.
It's going to be a statement question. A scenario.
I'm not grading you. Just go ahead.
Okay. You're driving down the road, you've got a two-seater car. You pull up at a bus stop, it's a thundery, stormy night with a tornado pending. You see at the bus stop your best friend that saved your life, the love of your life, and an 85-year-old lady that is possibly having a heart attack. Who do you put in the car?
You put 2 people in the car and 1 on the hood.
I didn't hear Andrew. I didn't hear Andrew's answer.
My best friend to drive the old lady to the hospital.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I think we could fit everybody in the car.
Yeah.
What size is the car? That's my question.
Two-seater car.
Oh, it's a 2-seater car. Oh, goodness gracious. We're gonna have to strap people to the hood. That's the only way I can see to do
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Jerry.
Ask that question again.
No.
Okay, if it's an old lady or my wife, I'll let my wife drive the car and I'll sit there on the side of the road.
Oh.
Question?
Andrew, your question.
Okay. One of the current council priorities is to continue efforts to become a more automated and connected city. How do you think we can achieve this?
A more automated and connected city. I think that I am always a proponent for rail. So, I mean, we have CSX, we just need the political will in order to work with the transportation. And Doug and everybody that's on the planning, Pinnell's planning, it's been in the works and people have talked about it, but it's never come to fruition. So I think that light rail, I think getting better bus service in Tampa or in Oldsmar would be good. I think we have 1 bus, right? 67 is the only bus that's in Oldsmar. I think we could definitely work on getting better bus service, so.
I kind of read your question to be more connected as in terms of electronic connectivity. I actually support the city manager's current initiatives through the innovation team to put us more on the cloud, in the cloud, as far as our permitting system that's beta testing right now, as far as different processes that we have around town, the global work order system, making all of our work orders more streamlined and online so that we can address citizen concerns more quickly, especially that. But I think we're doing a good job, and I think we're headed in, a continuingly positive direction with becoming more automated and more connected.
Was that your question on what she just answered? Yeah. Okay, I didn't, Linda kind of threw me off there a minute.
I guess I understood the question
No,
wrong.
You can answer it.
Well, connectivity to me.
Connectivity can be physical.
Could be, yeah. Okay.
The city is communicating with itself. It's an everyday job. It's an every month job. It's an every year job. You just keep doing it and doing it. I was doing a great job. The city's doing a great job. They talk to each other. It's just, that's going to be an ongoing job.
Linda, it's you.
I'm totally confused.
Well, actually, something that Katie just mentioned is the beta system that's been brought into the system with, I think it's being implemented by Felicia, I can't remember all their names. That's something that's really exciting for me because it's something that I pushed back 3 or 4 years ago to have more exposure within the building department in permitting and stuff like that. That new system is something that I think that the staff are actually putting in long hours to try and implement that. As for connectivity, I think that golf carts are kind of cool. Trying to join Galere, and I know you've got two questions there, but it's one that you can tackle on both. But trying to connect the golf cart communities is something that I'm sort of a pro for. As for the buses, I don't catch a bus, but it's something I'll look at if that's the question. Thank you.
My question would be, what is your number one priority as a council? Your number one vision, your number one priority that you want to put energy into as a council person?
That's a good question. I think the number one thing that I would want to put energy into is downtown and what our residents want that to look like. I want to make sure that we make some progress finally on downtown. We've got almost all of the pieces as far as land goes, but I think we need to approach it in a different way as far as breaking it down into smaller elements or pieces, as opposed to marketing the whole thing as one big, please insert your downtown into this 5-acre parcel. I'd like to really put my energy into that and trying to make that happen for our residents, because like many residents, I don't want to leave my city on the weekends. I love Safety Harbor, but I don't want to go there on weekends. I want to walk to a cool place here. I want to take my kids somewhere and eat that's here in my city. So that's one of the things that's my big priorities.
Thanks, Katie.
I didn't really understand your question, but that's okay. My priority is sitting right out here. My priority is the citizens of the city of Oldsmar that make this a great city. Thank y'all.
Katie, you get to ask a question.
Well, they have
The
to
others
answer.
get to answer.
I haven't answered it yet.
You're doing a great job. There's a lot going on.
It's a lot to have
come on.
to
Doing a
orchestrate.
wonderful job.
My biggest priority is traffic. Prior downtown is going to happen. I see that. I'm very big on the downtown. I'm happy for it to go ahead, but I want that small country feel. That is something the whole council and the residents decide, and that's the one thing that I stand for the residents. Everybody has their own feel for Oldsmar. They want this side of Oldsmar to remain that small country town feel. I'm 100% for that. Traffic's my bigger concern prior that being established. And I've been looking into every different intersection that is already congested at this moment. I just see that if that's not taken care of in advance, we're going to be in for a nice little show. So that's something I really, really want to focus on is the roads. And it's a concern now with traffic, different intersections, peak hour traffic. I think that's something that can start being addressed now with, downtown coming ahead.
Thank you, Matt.
My biggest priority is being an ambassador to Oldsmar. I'd like to represent the people and get people excited about not only what's coming to the city in terms of development, but be excited and more involved with city council. I challenge everybody here to come back to the next city council meeting. Be involved and get excited about it. I've been in touch with several of the architects that have interest in the city-owned land of downtown, as well as some of the small businesses, including breweries and other cafes. And they have interest, and the city's been holding on to this land and without really kind of a vision. And I want to get that vision established and a plan put into place, and so that we can get something that everybody can walk to, bike to, golf cart to, and really take us to the next level, because the city's already great and we can make it greater.
Thanks, Andrew. Katie, you get to ask your colleagues the last.
I think I'll ask
Question.
that classic interview question. What is one of your biggest weaknesses?
My mouth.
I kind of knew that was coming. I kind of felt that.
I've never done a candidates forum where we did therapy.
I did a lot of that.
Matt,
Biggest weakness? My shoulder. Honestly, my shoulder. This one.
doctor in the house? Andrew.
My biggest weakness, my immediate boss actually pointed it out to me, and something I didn't realize, but I can tend to take on too much work to a fault, and instead of delegating to others, and as soon as I had that review with him, he told me, I set about coming up with a plan and coming up with a matrix to help distribute my workload instead of taking it all on my own.
Thanks, Andrew. Linda.
I'm going to say two. I'm gullible because I trust people. And I trust that if I tell them the truth, they tell me the truth. So I tend to learn later that it wasn't true or that, so I'm trying to work on that. And I also have, I'm very forthcoming with my opinions or my ideas, so kind of my mouth as well. And I'm trying to work, I'm working on that as well. But I think that the biggest thing is I'm really trying to have better discernment when people tell me things, so that I know whether they're true or not true. I know.
Thank you all very much. We're now,
Answered yet?
you don't have to answer your own question. You take a sip of water, you're each going to do your closing statement, and you have 2 minutes for that. And we'll be starting with Matt.
Oh, really?
I don't know how this game works. You want to
drink the
give it
water
to
or-
some...
Okay. Okay. Well, the main reason I'm running is that I've seen some very big changes within the city. Our Braithwaite is actually one of them. It's one of the inspirations that gave me the push to run. And after seeing and actually witnessing some of the stuff that he's done within the city since he's taken control, some of the changes that he's made, the implementation of the beta system for the permitting and all that sort of stuff, I'm really impressed with how him and Felicia are handling that. The other thing is, it keeps coming up, is the downtown thing. I want to be able to put the people's voice on this, not politicians. I get very heartfelt about this because it's something that once it's built, it's going to be built forever, and I don't want that to be something that we don't want. Just to get buildings in place and that sort of stuff. We've got family, we all got families. I want to see cafes, I want to see somewhere where we can take our family, and it's something that, unless we've got somebody up here that's going to sit back and say, nah, we're not having that. We want this. This is what we all want. I want to be that guy for everybody here. Thank you.
You going to mean it? All right, thanks once again to the League of Women Voters and the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber for hosting all of us candidates tonight and giving us a forum for our voices to be heard. Growing up in Oldsmar has shaped me into who I am today. I rode a school bus down that narrower two-lane Tampa road. I played baseball on the field down at Ariel's Water Park, and I checked out books from this very building. I've also had the opportunity while in Boy Scouts to attend several city council meetings over the years. In my young age, I may not have fully understood what was going on at the meetings, but I certainly could see myself as being a part of it in the future. As I advanced through Scouts and attained the rank of Eagle Scout, I learned what it takes to be a leader. My scouting career is over now, and as a manufacturing engineer in Oldsmar for a company that makes high-performance medical tubing, I am charged with continuous improvement for our manufacturing processes, as well as leading some of our younger engineers to come up with solutions of their own. My employer has sustained explosive growth, breaking sales records year after year. And I've been directly involved with providing equipment, facilities, and solutions to keep up. I believe this experience translates well into addressing the issues that Oldsmar is currently facing. As I stated at the onset of tonight's event, I'm a problem solver by nature, which makes me confident that I'm the right fit for City Council. For these reasons, I ask you to please consider me in my campaign to fill the upcoming vacancy for seat 1 and to work on filling the void in our city. Please vote for Andrew Knapp for seat 1 on March 12th. Thank you again to everyone for coming, especially my family and my beautiful wife, Nicole.
One of my favorite quotes and how I have tried to live my life, most of my life. I've always been an advocate. When I was on the city council, I want to be your advocate. I want to be the advocate for all the citizens of Oldsmar. And one of my favorite quotes is, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." And I live by that. By the way, it's on Jackie Robinson's tombstone. I just happen to like it. So a life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. I believe that is God's purpose for many of us, for all of us, is to improve other lives. And when I was on the city council, I had the opportunity to do that. I have an empty nest now. I'm semi-retired, so I have more time than I've had in most of my life, you know, building businesses and helping to raise kids and all of that. And so I really want to pour my energy into being your advocate. Now, my cell phone number is 813-765-3970. That's 813-765-3970. I want everyone to call me with any concerns, any questions, any issues, because I really, truly want to be your voice. I really, truly want to help to make Oldsmar even better. Even though it's great, we can make it even better. So please vote for me. I would be honored. Thank you.
I am so grateful to the League of Women Voters, to the Chamber, again, to the city staff for hosting us here tonight and giving us an opportunity to speak to all of you. As a council member, it's going to be my job to work tirelessly for the success of the city and for the satisfaction, the ultimate satisfaction of its residents. If you're tired or annoyed when you see rusty playground equipment, if you're sad seeing another business fail and another for lease sign going up, if you're disappointed that we don't have more recreation offerings for our older residents, or you can't afford to live here anymore, you want to stay and retire. I want to make sure that everybody in this city and who wants to come to our city has the opportunity to live out that motto, to live, play, stay, and grow, work here, be here. I want to create a sense of place downtown, a place that respects our historical roots, but also gives us that vibe that our incoming mayor is talking about. I don't want our residents to leave our city on the weekends. I want people to stay here, not just stay as in the motto, but stay here even on the weekends. I want to see responsible development that's not in my backyard. I want people excited to see something downtown that makes them proud. I want us to continue to remain the landmark that we are, the benchmark that we are for ecotourism and for responsible and sustainable growth. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm an attorney. Advocacy is what I do, even for my 2.5-year-old. I would be honored to be an advocate for you at Oldsmar City Council Seat 4. Please vote for Katie Gannon for Oldsmar City Council Seat 4 on March 12th. Thank you.
I think over the last 50 years, I think I have been a good advocacy for the citizens of Oldsmar, and I'm proud of that, and I want to thank my beautiful wife for putting up with me and my mouth. She is my strength, and I thank you for that. And when she says that Oldsmar is my mistress, I thank you for letting Oldsmar to be my mistress. I love Oldsmar. I've been dedicated to Oldsmar the minute I walked into this city. I came home one day and she said, "You're the manager of the Dodgers." I said, "Who's the Dodgers?" She says, "It's the baseball team. You're going to be a manager." She volunteered for me that in 1966. I've advertised my phone number forever. And all you got to do is call me. I love this city. This city is my mistress. I'm not going to politic up here for y'all. Not one person on this sitting up here can do anything by their own. Nothing. They can tell you all they want. It's going to take the city manager, the city government to help you. Then it's going to take 2 more votes. And that's why the library's down where it is now, because I got 2 more votes. I couldn't do it on my own. My vote means nothing. The council means everything. And you are everything to us. So I don't care what they tell you. They aren't going to do a thing for you by their own. You need those 2 votes. You need the city government behind you. You need a vision. Don't screw up your vision. And you, people, you are our vision. Yeah, vote for me, please.
Okay, we're going to get out of here at 8:30 like we promised. I want to tell you my favorite quote, and that is, the good news about Oldsmar is small enough everybody can know each other, and the bad news about Oldsmar is small enough they really do. And that's my favorite quote because I made it up. I want to thank incoming Mayor Seidel, returning City Council Member Dan Saraki, and all our candidates here for giving us just an excellent night of really good substance for you to do. Our current mayor, Doug Beavis, has walked in and he was taking photos of all this. Doug, thanks for coming. I think our League of Women Voters who turned out here and to moderate, keep time, and everything else, keep us on track, as well as you, the audience. As Jerry would say, you're the reason we're all here. Give everybody a hand. Thank you for
Hello? Okay. Hi. I just want to thank everyone on behalf of the League of Women Voters for coming out and supporting your candidates and the Candidates Forum. Just remember that the last day to register to vote is February 11th. So if you're not quite sure, go to the votepinellas.com, and that's the supervisor of elections, and it's real easy, and you can check out to make sure that you're registered. The league focuses on fairness and foundations of nonpartisanship, and I just want to remind you that the views expressed are those of the candidates here tonight, not the league. Sponsorship of the forum is not an endorsement of any candidate. All candidates were invited to participate, which they did. And again, thank you, and thank you to the Chamber for inviting us in, and go vote.
I think that'll do it.